It has dawned on me. Time 7:56, Thursday, March 6, 2025 p.m. Watching this Emma Chamberlain. Adorable. Known about her for a while, and I haven't watched one of her videos in a long time. I think she was on Conan or something or whatever, but it's funny. I remember seeing one comment saying she does know she can edit out the farts. Apparently she's been farting on the screen for, on her videos or whatever, a long time ago. But in the shop, she sells coffees and stuff. Kind of reminds me of quartering. He says, find my coffee company. The episodes on Spotify, podcast, Instagram, Spotify, typical. And then I was thinking about Trump. How did I go from Emma Chamberlain to Trump? I think because it reminds me of looking through some of her thumbnails and old and popular, lifetime. And then I thought about Trump and how he doesn't know about groceries. Actually, I think I know what happened. Because there's one thumbnail. Let's see if I can find it. I think it was under popular. Must have been under popular. Yeah, it was under popular. Where she talks about bringing back something. Yeah, Cooking with Emma is back. And I saw the thumbnail here, moving over this. I don't know if I moved over when I started, but I remember seeing that, put it in the watch later. And then I looked down here into my that's a little refrigerator one my neighbors put out. It's my spit cup, so I spit in my cup, and I have a cup. And as I'm doing that, as I'm looking there and stuff, and I'm thinking I'm eating my cake too, right? I think at the same time, about, around the same time, cake and spit or spit, I forgot, but thinking about my cooking thing, the shorts blowing up for the past 2 months, 3 months, I think it's been 2 months. So, I always want to do a cooking show. When I said, I think maybe it was the 3rd or 4th or 5th or 7th, I forgot, maybe it was the 10th or 12th time I'm doing a short. Yeah, I always did want to do a cooking show. I remember a long time ago, college. During college, when we were family was in Alabama. My dad had an apartment there. My mom was there. They were staying there. And we did a cooking. I started a cooking. That was the first time I did a cooking show kind of thing on video, and it was so silly. I started to show all these ingredients or whatever, and saying you take this and take this. It's all stupid. Couldn't finish it because it's so boring to me. I never cooked. During the lunch thing at college, they had it all done. It's typical cafeteria that serve you. It's not until years, and college was a long time ago. Long time ago. And now, many years later, I'm doing this cooking thing. And only recently, now, I'm learning about these different meats. I have a meat list now. I created, I think, last week. Because I tried the pastrami. Pastrami. It's the hind leg of the pig, and they preserve it for a long time, a couple of months and stuff. Pastrami or something. It's so delicious. It's actually a type of ham. It's ham. It's from the pig. They don't smoke it like bacon, but it looks like bacon. They cut it really thin. You can eat it raw. Some of the types of meats similar to this, you cannot eat raw. It was so delicious when I was eating. I heated it up. You should heat up the meats a little bit to kill any bacteria and stuff on it, but it's so good. It was better than you know what. Oh wow, it was as good as the twice cooked pork. Actually, it was called the sweet and sour. It's really crunchy the way they make it. It's the best sweet and sour pork ever up north, where they filmed the Avery Hawk was in there. Avery Brooks, I mean. Spencer for Hire episode in that Chinese restaurant we used to go to. It's the best one. It was in the corner. Avery was he sat near the window when Mom got the autograph. It was from the Chinese restaurant though, up on the second floor, across from there. I believe it was across from there. According to the spoilers, according to the episode. So the one across the street is better, or something like the guy talking to Avery. But anyway, it was as good as that. That's my favorite meal. That sweet and sour pork. And now with this portashuti meat tied with it, is that good? So I've been experimenting with different, even before then, for the past maybe 4 or 5 deliveries, or about within that, about 2 of them, 2 deliveries. I've been doing a lot of meats, different meats. I kind of slowed it down from the last one because I thought I tested all the meats up, basically. The oven, my 2 ovens burned out. Which one? Yeah, they're kind of old or something, the carbon smell. If you overuse your heater, even the house heater, if you do it, I noticed this carbon smell at one point, so I stopped. I mean, I don't use the heater a lot. I'm very preserving of it. But at one point I was thinking, oh, screw this, I need to get heated. So I did it continuously at one point, and then I smell the carbon smell still in the oven, so I said, forget that, okay. So I'm using the microwave, learning to use microwave. My parents brought the old one, which looks exactly like the one from this place. But I had to learn how to use their microwave, which is a little bit more complicated, a little bit more complex than, it looks exactly like the same one that my dad brought over here. So I had to rehook it to basically I hooked to the power strip because it's hidden in the wall, cabinet. So I've got that down, but because the oven really unlocks this flavor. I heard it on the 3 years or 4 years ago on the radio. So I've been using that ever since, basically. But it takes so long. But the microwave, these new ones, they really can smack it up. So if I can get the oven working again, we'll see. But I got to test the meats out regardless. This recent batches, the most recent batch, for the past month, with the oven. It's only with Pastuti was the first meat with the microwave, but so good. So what's my point with this recording? Oh yeah, so this cooking show thing, really smacking it up. But it made me realize why I'm doing this video here is because I realize there's no future for them at all. If it takes a man who has been president before, and now he's president again, and only now, when trying to think, before he became president again, maybe about a month before he became president, or 2, it was during the campaign, his second campaign, this interview where he didn't know what groceries were. He said, "This word groceries, who uses?" And he gives it a little, like a smirk or something. Something to this effect. I don't remember it exactly. There's the pause and the smirk, I remember. And then all the body language, and you realize he really doesn't know what the word groceries is. A man who has been president before and is about to be president, we don't know, but he's on the campaign. Now he's president again. He doesn't know what groceries are. And he's nearly dead. He's nearly 80. There's no hope for them. When I say them, This guy's a really rich guy. He's of the elite rich. So you say there's no hope for them, or hope for the neurotypicals? Hope for what? There's hope for me, because I'm super duper smart autistic genius man. But if a guy and a lot of things he's doing is pretty amazing. Let them all free. The January 6th people. I would have done that. I said yes, let them all free if I was in his position. But it's because he's so rich that he's been able to not have the poisonous media, that information get to him. Same thing with how the blacks, a lot of the blacks, because they've been held back, they didn't have the infrastructure to know about the moon faking, because they didn't even know about the moon landing at all. They didn't have TVs. So that ignorance is bliss can be applied here for that, but they don't have real world experience. Trump doesn't have real world experience because he's so sheltered with his money. While the blacks have complete real world experience because they have to live on the very ground, and they're from the very nature, from where they're from Africa. It's naturalistic. So they have the southern hemisphere in contrast to the north hemisphere. So their food supply and everything, they don't have to freeze it or anything. So it's very naturalistic. They have everything they need. While on the north hemisphere, you have to preserve food. There's a lot more that has to be done. So their world in the northern world hemisphere is completely different. The core of everyone has the same core DNA for basic human characteristics. But of course, when it comes to personality and I'm talking about characteristics of basic human nature. Okay, but then there's the characteristic of your personality and all that. That's the different flavors, and that's different. But at the core of everyone, how do I say this? I'm talking about different types. There's different types of cores. Okay, at the core, I believe that the core of everyone doesn't change. Your personality, character, your personality-wise, that kind of characteristic personality. But I'm talking about the base Homo sapien kind of thing. And talking about Homo sapien, actually, the autistics, schizophrenics, they are still Homo sapien, but they're a different species of people. We're a different species of people. Species means you can breed with the other people, like that. Spoilers, like that movie, Species, right? We are a different species. We can breed with other people, but our brain think and our DNA brain think is so different. We literally are a different species. Pretty amazing. I only came to this from the Madam Web Snarky J video review, looking at that and realizing, yeah, it comes from the interesting brain. I usually think of a knitted yarn kit ball yarn, and now I've got this on my head. That's literally what my brain think is. It's a brain yarn. All the synapses are lighting up. It's all circular. It's all there. While it's a neurotypical, think of it as holes in it. That's what neurotypical brain. So not that they're necessarily stupid, or they don't have as much going on. So my brain is completely lit up. So imagine this whole thing is all a ball of yarn, and it's all lit up with lights. That's what is going on in my head. Neurotypical, they don't have as many lights. In fact, there's a lot of spacing. Imagine you take a ball and you jam a lot of holes in this yarn, and it's vast holes of black. That's their brain. So my brain is completely lit up like a Christmas tree, with tiny thousand billions amount of lights or quadrillions or whatever you want. It's so powerful that my body does things, my brain thinks things, which it plans decades, years, and I have absolutely no idea, but it does the salvin ability. I can't consciously see where it's going. Subconscious or subconsciously, it's there. But consciously, it does things which I can't consciously know at all. So if you say, because something will happen, I was like, oh my gosh, my brain, I somehow knew that. I planned that decades ago, and somehow it knows. So, and how this, it's all tied to this chemical, body chemical, which I'm not going to reveal in this video. But my point is that let's talk about different species, and is there any hope for them though? I don't think so. I don't think so. Trump, and he's doing a lot of good stuff now, but that's my point. That's my whole point. If a guy who doesn't even know the very basics, one of the basic tenets of life, which is groceries, food, looking for food. I think I was thinking of this morning. I was thinking of Marty McFly, spoilers for Back to the Future 3, where he hunts the rabbit. I think I was thinking this when I was sleeping, brain sleeping, thinking this early morning. He gets rabbits, 2 of them, and Marty's spitting, the other Marty's spitting. Well, it's played by the same actor, but his ancestor hunted the rabbit. He's spitting it out, eating it. Marty is, because he's got the bullets in there. Food. He brought Lorraine. Well, it wasn't. I forgot what her name was. The actor's wife was played by the beautiful Leah Thompson. Seamus McFly, and I forgot the name of the woman. She is, he brings the food to her and to the child. Food, nourishment. Trump doesn't know his food is on his hotels that he, his real estate and stuff. He doesn't even know what groceries are. And he's 78, 79. He can't walk with himself. He's defecating and farting all the time because he eats McDonald's. He doesn't know how to eat properly. This guy doesn't know. Even my next door neighbor, he worked in the grocery business before he got into the airplane business. His foundation was his work was groceries. Mine was groceries. I worked as a grocery artist, and then they put me into cashier work. So I did a lot of the artwork for the signage for the groceries. I liked it. I worked at the grocery store there because it was so nice and pleasant in there. Whereas the other grocery place, it was so bright and light because of my dilation. Never get your eyes dilated. But it was so pleasant and nourishment, and I had access to food. My main thing was, okay, I'm going to be working. What's the main thing you really want to work for? Food. He doesn't know what food is. He does groceries. I mean, he knows what food. He doesn't know groceries. Come on. Before I did this video, I kept thinking that he did that interview after he became president again. But no, it was during the campaign. It must have been. It couldn't have been during, because he was talking about groceries, and if he did it while after becoming president again, that'd be more pathetic. But it was only the past couple of 2 months, or I mean they only campaigned for about a year, so it wouldn't have been a year anyway. But so it's pathetic. A man who was president before. A man who was president before and no longer president doesn't know what the groceries, as he's nearly dead. And then a few months later, he's president again. He still doesn't know what groceries is. I seriously don't. There's no hope. There's no hope for people. There's no hope. No, I know I'm saying there's hope for me, but I guess when I say there's no hope for people, which people are you talking about? Am I talking lay language? Am I talking overall language? Am I talking base language? Am I talking, conventional language here? I don't even know. All I know is there's no hope for people. There's hope for me, but there's no hope for people. There's none. I still do what I have to do. I do it. Maybe it's out of obligation. Maybe it's out of I don't want to say it. No, I can't say it. I was going to say it because I feel sad for them. No, that's not it. It's not that. It's not. I'm not going to put this all high mighty, virtual signaling. I'm superior than people know, and I know that there are guess the word, from using that word tenants out there. I keep using this word tenant. Let's look up what the word tenant means. So I keep wanting to use that word tenant, and maybe not because today is Thursday and Patterson's movie is coming out. Tenant means definition of tenant: a belief, doctrine held to be true. Okay, I was gonna say, I guess I am using it correctly. I say the tenants out there say that that when you say you don't mean this, you actually do mean it. So when I say I'm not trying to be superior, I am actually being superior. I don't know. I mean, I hope not. But I feel sad for them. I feel pathetic towards them. That's not a verb, but that's what I feel pathetic towards them. Pathetic. It's pathetic that they have to be this kind of people, specifically Trump. Now my neighbors are blessed that I'm here. They're blessed by me being here. I am much older than a lot of them. I look almost their same age, but because I'm so smart, I can be very looking young. Plus the race I am at, the core of race I'm at, we look very young, simply because of our DNA. But yeah. It's the first unit here within this area. There's about 2 areas here and then over there. I was the first individual living here in place here. But yeah, what I'm saying is the synergy effect, the karma effect of my synergy is what helps everyone, and their synergy also helps me. Their positivity helps me. All of our positivity adds up. But because I have this special synergy energy, it always happens wherever I go. Whether I'm north and they think of me as their Jesus, they never call me Jesus, but they treated me like Jesus. And then coming down here, they again treating me like Jesus. Where was that? Yeah, when I went to college. And then when I went to college, Dad forced me back to college again. Never forced anyone, and they treat me like Jesus again. Yeah, same exact thing. Remember that time I swung that pole in film class? They taught me how to do the boom, and I swung it around. Twisted it this way. Oh, slowly though, because it was the microphone boom recording. Somehow and then with my glasses, I created my own glasses. They must have thought it was some kind of special film glass. It was because my glasses fell apart. I taped it up with this kind of special, those big protective polarized things. I think I used that with the boom, and they thought I was some kind of super special film guy. I don't know. Everybody started talking to me when we were going over the bridge, going to another class. I think we were going home or something. Yeah, and the same exact thing happened years later, many years later, maybe it was over maybe a decade or two, decade and a half. Let me see, it was graduated, and then I went back. Okay, so it was over almost a decade and a half. So the younger generation, and then it was after, I think it was the last, yes, it was the last speech we gave, and I gave two of them because I wanted to do an extra one on my own. The teacher didn't. I did it on my own. The teacher didn't say to do two. I didn't. It was a special kind of gift to the class, what I wanted to bequeath to them. But anyway, they were all following me again. I mean, this time, this group was following me on the bridge going home. I don't even think, it might have been the same bridge. I don't know. No, it wasn't. It couldn't have been. It could have been. I don't know. But again, the following, the asking questions, the looking at me as if I was a god. In elementary school was Mark Levy. The Levites were the leaders of the Jews. They were all Jewish where I was at. Popularity contest, and I won. It was between me and him, and they did the countdown, counting on the chalkboard between me and him, and I won. I beat him. I beat Mark's super guy. I beat him. Well, I don't say beat. I surpassed him. I won. present, around the most popular guy. So what's my point on all this? My specialty. Yeah, my specialty. So yeah, I still do what I have to do. It's in my nature. I mean, there's literally nothing else to do in my nature. I'm always nurturing. It's the same thing as breathing. You know? But now it's not even now, it's now in the back of my mind, subconsciously, I'm thinking, no, my mind doesn't even, consciously, it doesn't even, I don't even know, subconsciously, now, I don't know what's going to happen now. Now that I've really instilled this in my mind. Because I already thought of it before, this past month maybe. But now it's really stapled into my mind. Every day I learn more and more and more, and I see and I learn and I know people more, and I know myself more. And now there is some more things that I want to know. My new series that I'm going to eventually be doing, which I've been prepping for, is the Wi-Fi series, the harms of Wi-Fi. We had already a taste of that near the end of my Triggers last franchise series, where we did, a couple episodes of the Wi-Fi harm. But now I'm going full blown with it. Now all the triggers will be Wi-Fi for this new franchise. And everything I do is real. This one's going to be the most real as the AI is. What's his name says? I'm really real. Samuel Jackson. Yeah. So with reality, I have to take it to the reality. So it takes it even more real. It would be my most real thing I've ever done. For us, fictional wise. And all these series that I do helps me in life. It's a map. It's a map for the next step in reality for what I'm going to be doing. So my point is that it will help me to actually find out how exactly I'm supposed to deal with the Wi-Fi. Now, it's not going to be similar to spoilers like Jack Reacher, that guy who writes. He has absolutely no structure. Basically no structure when he writes. He's like, oh, this seems like a good idea, and he'll put this thing in. It makes absolutely no sense. No, my thing is, I have a plan, I have a structure for what I want to do, and then I figure out, okay, what is the solution here? How do we fix this? How do we win? And then whammo. Maybe during the filming or during the story structuring, if there's things that need to be changed or something organically or naturally, but my art is real. It's real art. And there is something in my head that does things that it knows, that it subconsciously knows what to do. It could be years later and I'm thinking, oh wow, I didn't even realize I did that consciously, but it's there. And it may be because I'm copying, I got influenced by something maybe, but then I'm looking about it, I'm saying, okay, yeah, this applies there, it's real. And I know this is all really real because, as the years go by, I realize there's something in my mind that plans stuff, that it knows my sovereign ability that I consciously am not aware of. My mind knows things and plans things, which is two halves of your brain actually work independently of each other. So, yeah. So that's cool. I surprise myself. Neato. I don't need anyone else to surprise me. So, yeah, that's so. But okay, now I remember one of the points I wanted to make about the Wi-Fi thing. I don't know why I thought I figured it out, but I still don't know why they leave it on. I thought it might be because of the speed. But, my family won't communicate as much as I want them to. Which is pathetic. It's kind of sad and pathetic. I think maybe it's just as sad. The information I need. Even simply talking to people out there. Eventually, when I go to some of the theaters, I could ask them, but I don't know how real people are when I ask them. The only way for me to get to know, I have to go into their place and somehow find out how are they doing. Because with the Wi-Fi router, it's only been about a decade. This technology in the home, it's only been a decade with this Wi-Fi stuff. And for it to be in the mass use in the consumer market. So that's not really long enough for them to know. I mean, a decade is a significant amount, but it's ended about now. So the data I need, even online searching for it, there's not much data on this. All it says is, oh, you can leave it on, it's not good. So you turn it off, and baloney. All the, what do you call it, the lobbyists lying in America, but overseas they know to turn it off. Overseas the lies aren't applied there. They have much faster internet. And the IT industry I worked in, we were installing thankfully we were installing landlines. For me, the interesting thing, the ironic thing is I always thought, why are we installing landlines when we have wireless? I couldn't understand that. But so that's ironic. That's ironic. Now I'm thinking, okay, it's actually better if we have landlines. So, yeah, I don't know why. Either they need it on all the time because the work. That might be it. Because of time, or maybe simply they're lazy. I don't know. When I was younger, I'm concentrating on other things, so maybe that's it. I mean, the only reason why I don't turn off the electricity for the weather thing is because, for the thermostat, is because, sometimes you have to use it occasionally here and there, and plus it's not, it is hardwired into the system, but I could easily bypass it, but sometimes I want to, with the weather changes so often that, I end up having to use it anyway, so, I mean, but when it comes to the internet, it must have something to do with work or something. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with my autism because of the brain structure, so I can feel the Wi-Fi. They don't. That might be it. They don't. They literally do not feel it in the same way anyway. Subconsciously, they must feel something. Consciously, it's simply going through the holes. Yeah, so that's one thing. That's one of the big things I want to know. And once I find out, it's going to be a big revelation. I mean, here's the thing. I've been driving. I don't drive now in a car, but when I did, I kind of couldn't understand why people drove the way they did. It's so stupid the way they drive. Also, when it comes to healthcare, I don't understand. Actually, where I'm at, a lot of people don't have healthcare, but regardless, it's basic information you need to survive, unless it comes to your eyes. That's one thing, but everything else is pretty easy to survive, health-wise, when it comes to taking care of your health. It's very easy, basic stuff. They need insurance to survive. It's so pathetic. It's beyond comprehension, actually. People who don't know how to get not fat, you simply stop eating. Stupid. It's these basic tenets of life like that. To me, I don't have to figure anything out because I see them do it. I see the way they drive. Actually, I could talk to anybody driving. Yeah, why not simply ask them? That's the funny thing is, I'm surrounded literally by people who drive, and I don't even ask them because I'm thinking I think subconsciously I'm thinking I can ask them while they're driving. In my mind, I'm thinking that, subconsciously again, but because that's why when I'm simply not driving, when I simply ask, hey, why do you keep driving this way? I never even dawned on me until now, but when it comes to healthcare, now that's an easy one because I was tasked with the insurance health plan at work, but I never paid attention to it everybody realized that I wasn't paying attention. I didn't care, so we didn't have a health care. I guess they looked at me and said, "Hey, this guy doesn't care. Maybe we knew the healthcare." And I might have told them that I was number one in biology, so maybe they thought, "Oh, he'll protect us because he's smart. He knows." We didn't need healthcare. Even my boss was thinking. Eventually, I mean, he simply dropped it. He never directly told me, "Hey, this he didn't say, "Hey, my health guy, that's me said, doesn't want a health plan, so we're not gonna." No, he never said that. One day he simply said, "We're not gonna health plan," or we never brought it up again. And we simply never deducted anything for a healthcare plan or anything. We had all the plans, looking at it and stuff, and we had a guy come over and stuff. But I remember the guy laughing at one point. He's a very serious, bespectacled man, but he laughed at me one. He said, "What are you gonna do when you don't get health care, when you get sick or something?" And he laughed and scoffed, but I didn't say anything because I'm number one biology. I knew exactly how to take care of myself. And then he left, and I don't think I ever saw him again after that. Yeah. So yeah, this is where I'm at in this country here, state. We don't even believe in healthcare anyway. I don't know if I started that trend or what. I don't know. No, I think we have a history of not having healthcare. I don't know. My contemporaries, maybe that's the thing. As we're moving through life through this time, maybe it was a consensual group think in this country. I'm sorry, in the state. Not simply because of the times at the time. Maybe no one could have really afforded the healthcare. Yeah. So. Yeah, I didn't ask anyone. Even at that time, I didn't say, "Hey, why don't you guys don't have healthcare? We don't need healthcare." I never said that. I was still learning through life and stuff, still going through the motions, finding out, studying people, listening. One of the main reasons I was at the IT field was to find out how they ticked. So it wasn't about me asking questions. It was about me observing. So I'm past observations. I'm past the main observation now. Now it's more about. What is it more about? It's more about the full-on activism of what I've been preparing for my whole life. Everything that I'm preparing for to be implemented, fully implemented. Yeah, that's the funny thing is I never really asked people point blank until only about within this decade, why they did the way. Even though my parents are nearly death age now, past couple of years, I'm trying to get the answer to them. Why do you behave this way? After all these years of observation, I'm ready to now finally ask people. I've observed you for so long. Why the hell do you do this? That's my whole status is most of my life: observation, planning, looking, observation, studying, and now me as the observer going in, like a script. What happens in the character? First, the character, it's like a conversation. Also, there's first part is test phase. You do some kind of test to see how the other. So you say hi or what you're doing or how you feeling, wherever. First little tidbit there, testing the waters. The second phase is I guess that's called the intro phase. Intro. Then you have the I think the next step is I forgot what was business. Okay, business follows the same act structure for a story. So you have, for the hook would be the intro, and then you have act one. After the hook, you have it's called the what do you call it? The presentation of all the characters. It's the introduction. Actually, that's called the introduction. So the first day with the hook. So what I'm talking about, I think when I said intro, it's called something. I think it's called in testing. Yeah, for speech. But anyway, let's do it with the plot structure. So it's hook and then introduction. Okay, this is Act 1. Okay, so this is Act 1. Everything is okay. Yeah, everything is established. Then Act 2. At the end of Act 1, you have a plan, and then Act 2 is the rising action, going through the test, all the trials and stuff, until you fail. And then when you fail, everything collapsing, and you have a new plan that ends Act 2, and then you go to Act 3, which is the conclusion, which is the implementation of the second plan. And you win or lose, and then there's you might have an epilogue at the end. So that's how it goes. And same thing with the conversation. So with why am I talking about? Trying to remember, why am I talking about structure here? Oh yeah. So with my plan of everything, I've been doing observation and stuff. So I've been the rising action has been getting all the information and observations of people around me, and that was the plan, exactly. And then after, well, there's a fail point. So the fail point is that, getting the final answers. My parents not communicating as much as I want, people not being as forthcoming as I want them. So I need a second plan. And the second plan is, well, it's this new series that I've got, which will help me figure out what to do next. And with that, I should have the win. The conclusion should be, and I usually always win. So the plan would be, yes, my series helping me figure out what the next step is to do to get the information I need. Ultimately, I could say it out. You'd think it's very simple. Simply physically go to people, go into their homes somehow, observe where the router is, talk to them, figure out why the hell do you have the router on all the time? If I want to talk about the cars, why do they drive this way and that? Healthcare, why don't you have? Although here in this state, we don't have healthcare, but physically ask them why they don't, regardless. Trying to really figure out why they do the things they do. And the one place I go to the most is a movie theater. So, but they're getting younger and younger, these kids, and they're kids. So, the last conversation I had, we were talking about glasses, and I don't think he was really paying attention. But the interesting thing is, when I got home, eventually, because remembering that conversation, I looked online and I found out you can actually get the measurement between your eyes on the computer. I didn't know you could do that. Must have been one of the recent things. So that's the good that came out of that. That was actually one of the last steps, if not the last step, for me getting my complete prescription online, because I bought a whole bunch of different devices to help me measure that distance between my pupils. I got 3 or 4 of them. I haven't even used the albums. I looked at some of them. I think I even have one package I haven't opened yet for that. But you can do it online. The measurement. You have to hold a card or something, and then the computer can read it or something. That's amazing. That was the last step. With that last measurement, now I can get a full prescription. Beautiful. Beautiful. How do I do that? Ooh, I'm not going to reveal that. That's going to take money, my friend. Like, give that information to you. You have to pay me something like this. Or maybe give me some subscription, subscribe to my channel. I usually don't say that. Give me a few views or something, give me a couple of views. But yeah, so, yeah, that's the thing. All I have to do is talk to them, observe more, and get really nitty gritty into that to figure out what in the world is going on with them. My own family, my gosh, such simple questions. Do you leave your router on all? Come on. And what the professions they're in. The questions I have are about, what I want to work with them on, what they need help on. They're in the profession. With my electrical engineering projects or my something with my health, biology, whatever. We're in the health field. My family's in the health field. They're in the. My brother-in-law has an electrical engineering degree. I mean, come on. My father can't. I mean, come on. These things that I want answers to, you already have schooling for. Help me out here. My sister didn't answer. My youngest sister, she didn't answer though. She said she didn't have her equipment. So okay, at least that's something. She doesn't have her equipment. She explained. Okay, so, but still, it's sad. Kind of sad that. Well, it's not really sad. I could simply ask her to. Now that I had that information, I could ask her. Okay, let's get your tools and stuff, and then we can go from there. I mean, yeah. So at least that's something. She's the youngest one, so she's more willing to help me because I get along with her the best, but in the family. So, but yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I have so much knowledge. I can find anything online. But the fact that I'm in this kind of stonewall with all the information online, they're taking a lot of information offline and stuff, trying to hide things more. And the people are becoming more, more protective of their data and stuff and what they say, I guess. So it's getting much more challenging to get the information I need. Everybody's so anxious and scared out of their freaking minds because, all the, people are getting more protective as life goes on because we're still a couple of years from the population peak, but it might actually come sooner than I thought, about 2 decades sooner than I thought, which is quite amazing, according to what Elon's saying. That'd be interesting. It's only within about a couple, let's say 5, 15, 30, not that long, only about a decade and a half, and then all the suffering ends, basically. It was going to be, a little bit longer than that for a while. So we don't have to wait that long. 15 years is really not that long if you think about it, from a lifetime. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to. Why I did this one video here is because Trump, he doesn't know what groceries are, and he's president for the second time. He still doesn't know. A man who was president and no longer president, and near the age of death, never heard of the word groceries, or he never knew what groceries are. He must have heard of the word, but he never knew what it was. It's not the same thing as me realizing today when I had my little Spider-Man Lego figure and me saying, oh, it looks like my brain thing. Even subconsciously I might have thought that. Maybe at one point I thought it looked similar, maybe. I mean, it must have ingrained in my mind, but the fact that it didn't stay and consciously focus fully, if that happened, it's quite amazing. It's right in front of me this whole time there in the kitchen. It's there. Yeah, I was like, oh. Right in front of you. Same thing with the Bay of Pigs thing, CIA, with JFK. I mean, it's been in front of me the whole time. The editing bay, the NASA stuff that I've been to, my schooling, where I've grown up, everything. The ex-People First Class movie, everything. It's been there the whole freaking time. Bay of Pigs. Incredible. JFK movie. Same building. I worked right across from there. We were in the editing bay too. One of the editing bays. I mean, right around the RoboCop costumes in there. In that building, I saw it one time on a work break. You have to understand, the buildings are different. I work from IT. There's the Hollywood in this country. I'm sorry, in this state. We have our own Hollywood. And then from class, I didn't even realize. And Duffy, my friend, classmate Duffy, worked there. We went to class. I didn't even know. And then we had one of the RoboCop producers come to class. You see what I'm saying? Two different things. Two different. Not only that, Jeff, they filmed at one of his previous buildings that he worked for, one of the companies he worked for. They filmed the server for that scene in the basement. Okay. And now he's working at a different office for a different company that happens to be right across from the studio that has that film Robo, that edited Robo, at least Robo. It had something to do with Robo. They were the editing company. Yeah, they work with the RoboCop people. They have the costume in there. I saw it, but they were they were the local office company, the local purveyor for them when they came in. Verhoeven, he's from Europe. Orion is based somewhere else. I think they're based, I forget where. But whatever place you go to, whatever state, you work within their Hollywood group in that city. And then, they work with them. Same thing as if you go to Toronto. A lot of people in the U.S., they go because it's so cheap. It's cheaper to film in Toronto. And so they work with the Canadian actors there and the Canadian industry there, their film place there. It's not simply, you bring all your stuff there and you start filming. Although that's what I would do. I do all my stuff myself. But that's how the Hollywood industry system works. Yeah, so it's been, that coincidal is quite amazing. But, why did I bring that up? I'm trying to remember why I bring up. See, I go on these tangents and I forget. It's so amazing that it blew my mind. Oh yeah, but I was thinking something about freaking. I said freaking. Oh yeah. We're talking about the. I was talking about coincidental right in front of me. All this time, why did I bring up? I was bringing up the JFK. That's right. JFK. They edited in that building. Of course, this is where we're at. This is the JFK thing. So yeah, it's been in front of me this whole time. So Trump doesn't know. He's eating the food and stuff, and it's right in front of him. Groceries, it's in front of him. He says he watches a lot of TV. He has his show and stuff. When you watch TV, you don't see any grocery carton. Is he so rich he doesn't have to watch commercials? Huh? I mean, come on. God, Ram. Does he not know what the word church means? He was in a church for his inauguration. Does he not know what the word church? I wouldn't be surprised. They say he didn't know what the word, something about, he doesn't know what the word children. And then I did some research. No, he does know the word children because he used the word children before. Not small adults or something. I thought, no, that's not, he must know. So he does know that word. Does he know how to spell the word potato or something? What other word? No, he does not. But groceries. It wasn't potato. If he knew potato, he would know groceries. So now I understand why my parents are so the way they are. I understand why people are the way they are more than ever. I understand why people are the way they are now more than ever. No, I don't know completely everything of them. If they can be this, actually, there's another thing too. I mean, it took me many years to know some things that I would think that people would understand already. But even if me so smart doesn't even understand, doesn't know some of these things, then I'm thinking, how could other people know them if I don't even know it, at my age? So yeah, with that also would make sense. Someone a long time ago, I've known this for many, many years, has said, not everyone has all the pieces of the puzzle. Everyone has different, actually no, the wording was, everyone has different pieces of the puzzle. Yeah, I guess that seems to actually apply, perfectly here. But my feeling is there seems to be something else. There's a piece of this puzzle. There's something more than simply, not everyone has different pieces of the puzzle. Could that be it? No, no. Well, with me, it's different because my brain thinks different. I think I have a different type of puzzle. Maybe that's it. I have a different puzzle. My puzzle is different. My puzzle has more pieces. Maybe that's it. Or no, I think my puzzle has less pieces. Maybe that's it. I have less pieces on my puzzle because I see more. Exactly, I see more. While they have tons of. So yeah, that's it. That's it. So I have this. I have. I don't have the same number of pieces as they do, but